Donald Trump's whole MAGA thing, it feels like it's officially collapsing. I mean, the implosion is happening right now live for the entire world to see. And this meltdown, it's a full-on internal mutiny. It's coming completely from inside the movement itself. The great leader just did the one thing, the ultimate thing he could do to betray them. He basically ordered his base to stop caring about the Jeffrey Epstein case. The very conspiracy he's been selling them for years now. You have to see how his own people, his own cultists are turning on him. I've got all the receipts right here. Hey guys, before I read you this just wild rant he went on, could you do me a quick solid, hit that subscribe button and turn on your notifications? We're trying to build a community here, one that's all about fighting back against the gaslighters and the liars. And your engagement, I mean, it's the fuel that keeps this whole pro-democracy message going. So Trump gets on his struggling social media platform, Truth Social, and he basically just screams at his own supporters. And you have to remember, these are the people he has conditioned for years to believe in this huge deep state conspiracy around the Epstein files. He was always promising them this great reckoning that was always just around the corner. And now, with his own people in charge, his hand-picked Attorney General, Pam Bondi, and his FBI Director, Kash Patel, they've come out and said the whole thing is a bust. They're saying there's no evidence of a client list. They're confirming Epstein's death was a suicide and that they're just closing the book on it. This, as you can imagine, created a massive firestorm with his base. They feel betrayed, and you can't blame them. They feel betrayed by the guy who sold them this whole fantasy in the first place. So, the great narcissist in chief logs on and he posts this desperate, whining message directly to them. Quote, "They're all going after Attorney General Pam Bondi, who is doing a fantastic job. We're on one team, MAGA, and I don't like what's happening," unquote. And then he keeps going with this unhinged rant, and honestly, the level of delusion is it's off the charts. Quote, "We have a perfect administration, the talk of the world, and selfish people are trying to hurt it, all over a guy who never dies, Jeffrey Epstein. For years, it's Epstein, over and over again," unquote. So, hold on, let me get this straight. The conspiracy theory that he pushed relentlessly is now suddenly a distraction, and his own supporters are selfish for wanting the answers that he promised them. This clown is so desperate to change the subject that he actually told his followers to stop wasting time on Epstein and to focus instead on his completely insane lies about the 2020 election. But this is the part that should probably terrify Trump. This is the part that really shows the foundation of his whole MAGA movement is starting to just crumble under the weight of his own lies. His followers on his own platform, they responded right to him, and they were not holding back at all. The anger, the just profound sense of betrayal. One user who said they were at the January 6th insurrection replied directly to Trump with this really stark warning. Quote, "This is going to cost you so many supporters. I being one of them. Our two-tiered system of justice needs to end. We, the people, are tired of it," unquote. Do you get how significant that is? That's not some critic from the outside. That is a voice from the absolute, the heart of the MAGA movement. A true believer who feels completely and totally stabbed in the back. This psycho, he built a whole movement on a pack of lies, and now he's finding out he can't really control which lies his followers decide to believe. And it wasn't just one person, it was it was a flood of his most passionate fans turning on him. Right there in his own comments, another user just laid it all out for him. Quote, "You are losing too many in your base. Have an aide. Collect what we are saying all over social media. Pam Bondi has not been telling us the truth." Unquote. This is a major political crisis for a narcissist like Trump. His entire identity is just wrapped up in this idea of an unbreakable, completely loyal base. The problem is the fire isn't just with the diehards on Truth Social. It's now spreading to his own state-run media over at Fox News. Yeah, that's right. Over on Fox Friends, the hosts were pretty much laughing at the administration's official story. The co-host, Charlie Hurt, he pointed out that you can't just declare a problem is solved without, giving some kind of real explanation to the public. Then his colleague, Kevin Corke, just dropped an absolute hammer on Trump. He called his whole Epstein cover-up a ticking time bomb. He specifically called for Pam Bondi and even the FBI's own Dan Bongino to get out there and, as he put it, face the fire. And then Corke said what millions of Americans, including Trump's own base, are thinking. And it is just, it's stunning to hear this on Fox News. Quote, "You're telling me there are videos out there in New Mexico and at the island and in New York and nobody saw anything. I don't buy it." Unquote. When your own propaganda network, the one that has just dutifully repeated every single lie you've ever told, suddenly says, "I don't buy it," you are in a world of trouble. It means the story has completely fallen apart. The stench of the cover-up is so bad that even the people who are paid to ignore it are starting to choke on it. And what does our coward-in-chief do when he's cornered like this? With his lies exposed and his allies starting to back away, he goes to the oldest trick in his pathetic little playbook. He tries to blame the whole mess on President Biden and former President Obama. But the real story here is the chaos that's just erupting inside his own administration. It's a sign of a government in a complete and total tailspin. U.S. media is now reporting that Dan Bongino, the influential right-wing pundit that Trump appointed as FBI deputy director, has actually threatened to resign over this whole fiasco. Think about that for a second. Dan Bongino, a guy who made a whole career out of pushing these wild, unsubstantiated conspiracy theories, is apparently so disgusted by this cover-up that he's ready to walk. I mean, when a professional grifter thinks your grift has gone too far, you've hit a whole new level of shamelessness. This is the corner Trump has painted himself into. It's a trap, and there's no clean way out. His base feels betrayed, his media allies are skeptical, and his own administration is threatening to just implode from the inside. He's a man who's completely boxed in by his own pathological lies, and he's just lashing out in every direction. And at the center of his fury and the fury of his basis, his own hand-picked attorney general, Pam Bondi. Bondi is playing the part of the loyal sycophant just perfectly, but her reward is to get viciously attacked by the very monster she's trying to serve. The far-right influencer Laura Loomer, who's always a pretty reliable barometer for the MAGA fever swamps, is calling for Trump to fire Bondi immediately. She's labeling her a liar and an embarrassment. Another user on Truth Social, someone who shares Trump's posts all the time, laid out the betrayal in these really stark terms. Quote, "You promised us that. Pam promised us that. Cash promised us that. Now it's our fault because we want that promise fulfilled and call Pam out every time she lies? What else has she lied to us about?" Unquote. That last question? Wow. That's the one that should be keeping the entire Trump administration up at night. The second your followers start asking, what else have you lied about? The whole rotten structure is just in danger of collapsing. This whole episode, it just perfectly demonstrates the central rule of the Trump universe, doesn't it? Loyalty is a one-way street. It flows directly to him. He will demand your absolute, total devotion, and then he will throw you to the wolves the second it's convenient for him. And Pam Bondi is learning that lesson the hard way right now. What you are witnessing is a political party that has become a full-blown cult of personality, and now the cult leader is losing his grip. He's caught between the lies he told yesterday and the lies he has to tell today, and the contradiction is just ripping his movement apart at the seams. The hypocrisy, the sheer breathtaking hypocrisy is the real story here. The man who built his entire political career screaming about a deep state and secret cabals is now the head of that very state, telling everybody to just look away, stop asking questions, and think about the absolute contempt he shows for his own followers. I mean, with a statement like this one from his post, quote, "Let's not waste time and energy on Jeffrey Epstein, somebody that nobody cares about," unquote. After years, literally years of whipping them into a frenzy about this, he just dismisses it all with a wave of his hand because it's suddenly inconvenient for him. That's not the move of a confident leader. It is the panicked reaction of a guilty man who is just terrified of what might come out. The bottom line is that Donald Trump is a coward. Plain and simple. He is so consumed by his own petty grievances, so worried about his own exposure, that he is willing to publicly humiliate his own base and set fire to his own signature promises, just to protect himself. This is a massive political meltdown, the likes of which we have rarely seen. And it exposes the deep fatal flaw at the heart of the entire MAGA project. It's a movement built on the shifting, contradictory whims of a single pathetic narcissist. It has no principles, no real policies. For years, Trump meticulously built this monster that was fueled by conspiracy and rage, and he was more than happy to point it at his enemies. Now, that monster has turned around, and it is looking straight at him. And the great leader has been revealed as just a terrified little man who has no idea how to control his own creation. This chaotic mess is proof of just how dangerous this movement is for the country, for the world. A political force, this detached from reality, led by a man this emotionally unstable in represents, a profound and ongoing threat to our democratic institutions. The MAGA house of cards, built on this swampy foundation of lies and conspiracies, is finally showing signs of collapse. The truth is a fire, and it is burning through the lies that hold this whole pathetic movement together for everyone to see. So, what do you think? I mean, is this the moment the MAGA fever finally breaks, or will they just find a new lie to believe? Let me know what you think down in the comments. And if you value truth and you want to keep fighting for democracy, please make sure you hit that subscribe button right now. Thanks, and